Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty, episode 34, pre-Thanksgiving review of the shitty performance of the second half and a tale of two halves of the Pittsburgh Steelers game against the Cincinnati Bengals this past Sunday night. Look, the Pittsburgh Steelers in that first half, guys, and I expected it to be that way, and I was very, very happy at the outcome in the first half of leading 20-17. And if you wasn't, then there's something wrong with the screws in your head because we were underdogs and we were winning 2017 going into half. Now, I have no idea what happened in the locker room, the adjustments that Tomlin made, the assistant coaches made any adjustments. I don't think so. I know it was the last episode of the fucking Walking Dead, and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second half were the Walking Dead. That's right. They were the Walking Dead 2 hours before the last episode of The Walking Dead, if you can believe that. They had the ball going in. They got the kickoff in the second half, 3 and out. That's right, 3 and out. And I'm trying to get my Facebook stuff up so I can get everybody aboard here because I know, hey, Robbie, what's up? I know, and happy Thanksgiving to you. And I know it's pre-Thanksgiving. I know everybody's starting to drink, spending time with their families, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty review of that shitty performance in the second half against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost 30-37, but the second half performance on the offense and defense was atrocious. Now, the Steelers are 3-0, and anybody can say, hey, Kelly, thanks for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Anybody can say, and I haven't seen this in a long time, and we haven't seen this for a long time, that the Steelers are now 3-7, and they are in last place in the AFC North. Like, that is where I did not think we were going to be ever. I still took them. Hey, Shane, thanks for tuning in. I did take them 12-5, and I believe this is the second game this season. Greetings from Walmart. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Hey, Lisa, thanks for tuning in, and happy Thanksgiving to you. Clark Freed, thanks for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And this is the second game this season that the Pittsburgh Steelers were up at half. Cleveland Browns, they were up 14-13. They did not show up in the second half. Lost that game. The Dolphins game, they just didn't show up at all, and they lost. Okay? Now, this game in the second half was atrocious. The offense was terrible. And now this is the last time that the Steelers were 3-7 at this time in this season. I bet you I had to go back the whole way back to 2003. 2003 under Bill Cowher was the first and was the last time that the Steelers were 3-7. Dan Keith, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty review of the Pittsburgh Steelers losing to the Cincinnati Bengals on this pre-Thanksgiving 2022. Okay, Robbie says, Matt Canada's play calling destroyed the Steelers' momentum in the second half, and the Steelers' defense scheme is outdated. Yes, I believe everything you're saying, Robbie. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Matt Canada, I cannot believe, has a job still. He is by far the worst motherfucking offensive coordinator in the Steelers' history. Now, mind you, Joe Walton, I thought was, but I think he had a great scheme. I just think it was too complicated in the 80s. This is atrocious. Bobby Roofner, Barbecue Bob, thanks for tuning in. I almost said Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And Steele, thanks for tuning in. Steele, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Tampa Bay 2 sucks. That defense scheme is terrible. I just don't know anymore. We just need to blow this this up, and it's getting worse and worse. Now, they had a 2% chance of getting into the playoffs, if you might have seen that, because I've taken a couple days and I see a lot of stuff in the Steeler Nations coming on, and there is a lot of stuff. And there is a lot. There, thanks, Bob. Thank you. You and yours too. There is a lot of criticism of Kenny Pickett. Now, I posted on my Facebook, look, at a time in 1970 when Terry Bradshaw was the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he threw 24 picks. Now, can you imagine, guys, if we had Twitter and Facebook and all this bullshit during Terry Bradshaw during the early 70s, they would run him out of fucking Pittsburgh and in the cover of night. Look, let's give Kenny Pickett a chance. Look, I wanted to draft I wanted Jordan Davis. I did, but it didn't happen that way. We have to get Kenny Pickett some time. And Lisa says coaching is the Steelers' problem. I believe that, and accountability is also their problem, Lisa. The press conferences of Coach Tomlin is atrocious, and it's getting worse where he doesn't see the problems or he doesn't want to admit to the problems that are happening in Steeler Nation. This team has a lot of skilled players, has a lot of potential. I swear to God, as God is my witness, people, I took them 12-5. I know I'm a Yinzer. I know I take him every week, but I did not see the bottom falling out of the defense, and I did not see, honestly, I didn't see Pickett starting as early as he did. I figured maybe after the bye during the Philadelphia Eagles game that he would come in. But I also figured, guys, that Matt Canada would be on a one-way boat trip to fucking Nova Scotia somewhere and freezing his ass off. That is not the case, and I don't know what we're going to do. His play calling in a red zone is atrocious. Our Steelers statistics offensively are very, very bad. Dante Johnson is non-existent. I think you guys see more of me on a podcast show than you see Dante Johnson catching balls, and he's a former Pro Bowler from last year with a big contract of $18 million. Nothing. They can spend so much money and they're not getting anything in return. The Steelers are trying to play defense like it's 2008 still. Yeah, I agree, Steele. I know no one saw. Steele says nobody saw TJ Watt going out for 6 weeks. However, this team hasn't been good in years. Travis, thanks for tuning in and happy Thanksgiving. But still, you can honestly admit that how can one player, like we've been saying this, they never even stepped up when he was hurt. Never. I mean, I thought they were going to make some more trades than they did. I was looking for them to trade. Look, I know I'm going to be the bad guy here. Cam Hayward for maybe a future pick because Cam is in his 34. That defensive line is old as me trying to run anywhere, and I'm not running anywhere. So Robbie says, Kenny Pickett is a rookie. Why is everyone expecting him to play good right away like Rome wasn't built in one day? True. And he shouldn't have to do a lot, Robbie. The running game and the play calling should suffice. He should not throw. Let's get to some stats of Sunday's game here. Some stats of Kenny Pickett was 25 for 42. 265 yards, 1 touchdown. He threw a 24-yard touchdown pass, which was the longest of the season. He rushed twice for 14 yards. He does not have to have all those passing attempts. Poor play calling. Steele says no depth they missed on the secondary free agents. I thought Levi Wallace would be a good pickup, Steele. He got some interceptions, but he gets smoked. I'm not real happy about him. I thought he would be something that would be an asset to the Steelers secondary. But like I said about the stats with Kenny Pickett, like I'm happy with 19 for 27. 225, maybe 1 touchdown and maybe rushing in the goal line in the red zone for another. He was strong. Oh, he had George Pickens. He overthrew him. That was a touchdown pass. The defense of Cincinnati was getting to him. Dan Moore is god awful. Hey, Dan Key, thank you. You're on the Facebook now. Thank you for tuning in. Our offense, our tackles are terrible. And I don't even understand why they do trick plays with Zach Gentry. I don't know why. make him block, get him open a little bit, and get him in the flat. When he's on the offense. It's just I don't know. The play calling is just god awful. He just Matt Cannon up in a press box tries to be Albert Einstein, and he tries to make the wheel into a box. So Steele says wanted to see Pickett continue to make progress, but still lose games. I want to see him get consistency. Steele, I like his moxie, but I honestly don't want him running 30 yards down the field though and taking a hit and then having all his progression, with injury. I don't want that. Let's see. Lisa says, "You see my badass running, you should run. Something big is chasing me." Back to the Steelers. They might be filled with rookies, but the offensive coaching sucks. Matt Canada is terrible. The offensive line coaching is terrible. Every Dollar General coaching that the Steelers have need to go. It's terrible. Austin on defense is terrible. Brian Flores, I thought, was coming in. Maybe they should fire Austin and put Flores as defensive coordinator, but I think he might be gone. Robbie says the Steelers secondary is not as good as at all. The Steelers got a bunch of nickel cornerbacks. Oh, Richard Smokin from Philly on the other side. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mr. Smoke, and you and your family. He says, you guys didn't look as bad this week, but still not pretty. It's the second half, Rich. That's the first half. I'm okay with going into the locker room 2017. No adjustments were made. 3 and out, and the offense just looks so stale under Matt Canada, and they won't get rid of him. And it's a shame that we got to deal with this. Let's get back to some more stats. Benjamin, thank you for turning in. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours at the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty episode 34. We have Najee Harris, his second week, guys. The little, bye week and him getting talked about, maybe getting sat, has revitalized Najee Harris. He was 20 for 90 yards. It was slow, but he kept chipping away. He had 2 touchdowns. He had that huge 19-yard hurdle at the end there on the second yard line, and I'm like, please don't do that anymore. I keep saying that. I mean, I'm sure it's a great ESPN highlight, but please, Najee, don't do this anymore. And then he had 4 receptions for 26 yards. Najee had a very good game, but also 2, he missed another ball that's 2 misses he has consecutively week to week. He needs to catch the ball out of the backfield. So Robbie says, O-line and quarterback, 2 most important needs in the offseason. I can agree with that, but also I like to have some defensive linemen. Our defensive linemen are old because Chris Wormley and Tyson Alualu will probably not be a Steeler next year. Benjamin says, as his scores are always like that, Benjamin, I understand. Steelers are going to win against the Colts 28-17. I love your positive energy, Benjamin. And we will do a show we'll probably do a show this weekend. And Benjamin says Kenny Pickett is awesome. He's got a lot of growing pains. And you know what, guys? He had no turnovers. I know he's throwing up high, and he's throwing out of bounds. He's thrown to the peanut guy in section 508, because section 509, double B, seat 3, that's pretty high because that's my old seats at Heinz Field. That's right. I can remember those seats. Steele says O-line and D-line get a free agent cornerback. Linemen on both sides, the whole draft. You can pick. We got enough skilled players now. We need people in the trenches to beat the shit out of people. That's the problem. Dan Moore, I'm sorry, but go to the XFL. The Rock will take you. Okay, the receiver, George Pickens, he was targeted 6 times. He had 4 receptions, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, and he almost had that first touchdown, and Pickens came back to him. He overthrew him the first time. I believe that George Pickens is our number 1 receiver, with Pratt Freiermuth coming right up behind him. Dante Johnson, I've read some reports where he's invisible. They're going to try to get Dante into the offense more. I don't know, because every time he catches the ball, he goes 5 yards back. I don't know. They should never, ever paid him. I don't let him fucking sit out and do whatever. Steelers, if you knew anything, don't pay these people. Don't pay him. They need to run up their run game. Lisa says. Robbie says the only negative thing I can say about Pickett is that he needs to step up in the pocket more. Hopefully in time and maturity as not being so rookie-fied. I don't even know if that's a word. I just made it up. So let me go back here because the lovely computer, poof, just popped off. And Steele says Johnson does not get open. So, Steele, let me ask you, was it worth paying him that money? I don't think so. Maybe, is he different with Pickett instead of Ben? Robbie says Dante's stealing money right now. So that's what I'm asking you, Steele. Because Brett Freiermuth, tight end Freiermuth, was targeted 6 times, had 8 receptions for 79 yards. I like that. I like this combination, them two. So I'll wait for your answer, Steele. But I'm going to say, no way, he's number 2. Okay. I don't even know if he's number 2 right now. I'd probably put Freiermuth at number 2 since I know he's a tight end. He could be 3 on the depth chart. If we had another receiver, it wasn't Claypool, but maybe they can find. Honestly, Steele, let's put it this way: if that Calvin Austin III wasn't hurt, maybe Calvin Austin would have been the second receiver behind Pickens with Freiermuth in that mix and Dante down to 3. Can you see that one? Just saying. Kenny Pickett is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Well, I don't know what you're smoking on your side of your room there, Ben, but God bless you for your Steeler positivity. You're a huge Kenny Pickett fan, and there's a few Kenny Pickett fans listening tonight. So now let's get to the Steelers defense, some stats on that. The Steelers had a couple sacks. That's all they had. They didn't have the 7 like they had the first game. They had a couple sacks. The offensive line of Cincy was a little better than it was the first game. Highsmith and TJ Watt had a half a sack. Cam Hayward had a sack. The interceptions, Burrows threw 2, 1 to TJ Watt, an immaculate kind of play. Larry Obajobi fell to the ground with his guy, and TJ Watt just Spider-Man'd up and just took it. Great play. But they didn't I think they got a field goal out of that drive. They just didn't capitalize on the second half. It was atrocious. And then Levi Wallace got the other interception. The Steelers defense was ranked 6th in the red zone defense, but they allowed 3 touchdowns in Sunday night's game. And then get to the Cincinnati Bengals stats. Quarterback Joe Burrows was 24 for 39, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 picks, like I said before. And he didn't even have Jamar Chase. His number 1 receiver was out. The number 1 receiver is out. Joe Nixon left the game with 20 yards, went out with a fucking concussion, and the Steelers couldn't capitalize on that. And then receiver T. Higgins had 9 receptions, 148 yards. He was carving us up. Burrows was carving us up. Spillane couldn't tackle anybody. The secondary was nowhere to be found. And then that running back, Perrine, 4 receptions, 52 yards, 3 touchdowns. They couldn't tackle him. On that first touchdown, I was like, holy shit. So, and the Bengals had 2 sacks on Pickett. So, Steele says, coaching failed miserably, no adjustments on either side of the ball. They do it all the time. Steele, that's probably the 3rd game this season. Maybe the Patriots game, I'll go with 4. But the only adjustment they did, Steele, in this season in the second half was put Kenny Pickett in against the Jets. That's the only adjustment I think they did all season long. Robbie says Steelers played down their opponent's weakness instead of attacking. Steele said the special team tackling sucks also. Sims had some nice returns, though, Steele. Percy Harvin, I guess, is the apple of Tomlin's eye. I guess he was averaging 45 or 46 yards a kick. He had a couple in the 20s. It is what it is. I don't know. And then at the end there, Gunnar Oshowski got in. He got two receptions. That was a waste of a signee right now. I thought he would have been something maybe in the slot. That's not the case. And then the Steelers offense has to quit running the jet sweeps. And then if you guys seen Cincinnati linebackers said they knew what was coming. They knew all the plays because the Steelers run the same plays. They run the first 20, probably in the first half, and they run the first 20 in the second half, and those jet sweeps are slower than molasses. It's like me running out for the mailbox and trying to get my mail and getting tackled probably by my dog. That's how fucking slow the Steelers jet sweeps are. So, I mean, it's just god-awful. So, let me go with some Steelers injuries. Jaylen Warren, questionable for this week. Cornerback Khalil Witherspoon, still questionable. Center Mason Cole is questionable with a foot injury. J.C. Hassenauer played. They also they had a couple penalties where they had a legal man downfield. And I will get into it when they play the Colts. That umpiring officiating crew calls a lot of them, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, is leading the NFL in illegal men down the offensive men down the field with 6. The O-line is full of backups. I believe still there isn't anybody. Maybe that Daniels is probably the only one, and he's mediocre at best. Dan Moore, Chooks need to go, but they paid Chooks 20-some million, which I don't know why they did. Robbie says the sad part is the Steelers thought Chase Claypool was the problem. Coaching and execution is the problem. Chase Claypool was just a figment of our imagination. His first rookie season, he was great. Never since then, he's just an afterthought. And hopefully we get a great player out of him in the Chicago Bears draft pick. And the Bears are doing shitty, so that looks good for that pick. And he's doing shitty too. So, and receiver Miles Boykin has he's questionable, and I don't know why they haven't put Miles in as a receiver more. He's great on special teams, but I believe he was number 1 before. They could put him in there and see what happens. And then on November 16th, DeVarvin Lear, the rookie defensive tackle, is to believe return to practice, and hopefully he can practice and get some reps so he can be put back on so he's not put on the injured reserve for the rest of the year. And still, you're absolutely right. He's not doing nothing in Chicago but eating Chicago-style pizza. He's not doing shit. And he never was the receiver that he said what he was first part of the season. And I'm glad he's gone. I mean, I feel bad for the people that bought Chase Claypool jerseys for Christmas, but if they did, they were fucked up anyway. Like, who would buy a Chase Claypool jersey in the first place? Unreal. Like, if you're not buying a Pickens or TJ Watt or a Pickens jersey or a Najee, those are probably your first 4 jersey sales of the Steelers. Boykin is 6'4". They use him more, especially in the red zone. They need to use him all the time. I know. I want maybe he gets healthy. You know, I thought that was a great pickup, Robbie, when they got him. But sometimes when they get these great pickups that I think are great, they never use them to their to the benefit of what their strengths are. He's hurt. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But once he gets healthy, Steele, that's why I put question mark. He's questionable, Steele. He's questionable. Now, the Steelers signed some practice players, and everybody's like, oh, shit, signed some practice players. The 1% of us going to the playoffs just jacked up to 3%. That's not the case. But I did like this guy in the preseason, Master Teague. I did like this running back, Master Teague. I did. Better than Benny Snell. But he got hurt. So they signed him, and they signed receiver Jamarcus Bradley, another receiver, and they released defensive tackle Renell Warren. So, look, it's just practice, but you never know. You never know. Oh, okay. Yeah. Steele says they should use Boykin more. Yes. I believe that. Boykin, Freiermuth, Gentry, Pickens, you know what I mean? Like, that should be a different type of package in the red zone instead of doing a jet sweep or a receiver handoff or also doing a stupid-ass flea flicker that they did, like we're playing Turkey Bowl or something. Like, that was slower than molasses again, and that shouldn't even have set it up. Hi, Aunt Renee. Thanks for tuning into the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty Show. We're reviewing the Steelers' loss against the Cincinnati Bengals. I appreciate family when they tune into the show. Tell Uncle Randy you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. But look, we are 3-7. I mean, I just torched it. I threw a grenade in. The Steelers are not going to the playoffs. People, if anybody out there thinks the Steelers are going to the playoffs, uh, please contact me and I will sell you a piece of swampland in Florida or in Pennsylvania or in Ohio. Somewhere I will sell you some swampland. And please, if you think they're going to the playoffs, because I call it like I always think that they're always going to go, but this is by far is the worst year in recorded history, even in the 80s when I recalled, because the Steelers in the 80s had some good teams, and I was younger and I wasn't I just watched the games and I wasn't thoroughly involved as I am now, but the Steelers had good defenses back then. Robbie says the playoffs have been long gone. Well, the last couple weeks, yeah. Yeah, they were. But Robbie, the AFC is not very strong. My AFC team is the Kansas City Chiefs. Buffalo Bills now have been beaten a couple. I don't think they're as good as they were a month ago. That's, you know what I mean? And we could have beat Miami, and we shot ourselves in the foot in numerous games. And that's why Steele and everybody says the adjustments in the second half. I don't know what they do to try to achieve victory, but they just don't perform. Steele says if they draft right, they can play. They could be a playoff team in 2 years. True, true. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman. I don't know, Steele. Would you like to see him draft an inside linebacker? But I don't know how many people we're going to get because we can't fill everything. So it might take, you might be right, it might take a couple seasons to get two good tackles. We definitely need another guard, like an Alan Faneca type guard. And do we still keep Mason Cole as center, or do we draft somebody, which we could have drafted the number one center, but we drafted Pickens, I believe. I could be wrong, but I have to pay a lot more attention to the college draft doing the show than I have before. So, and I know I'm trying to get Brian Burns on the show. I know he's a busy cat, but he says he had some stuff, but he's still going to try to get him on the show. Free agent cornerback and inside linebacker. And Robbie says Devin Bush is probably gone after the season 2. Not a big loss, Robbie. Not a big loss. Miles Jack is the leading tackler, but Miles Jack hasn't done anything good. Hey, Tito Santana, thanks for tuning in. God bless you, sir, and happy Thanksgiving. WWE Hall of Famer. Thank you, Tito, for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. It is an honor, sir, that you are tuning into the show, and I would love to have you on as a guest and give you and interview you. That is truly awesome. I am truly humbled, sir. You are a great professional wrestler, and right now I'm not even talking Steeler football. Sir, it's an honor. I've watched your career many times, and it's just I'm truly honored that you jumped on the show. And I seen you wrestle Greg the Hammer Valentine when I was a little kid at WrestleMania. And you are a consummate performer, and you are a true professional, and you have class, sir. And it's my honor that you have just jumped on to my Steeler review podcast, and I am very honored. Thank you, everybody. Give it up for Mr. Tito Santana, WWE Hall of Famer, former Intercontinental and WWE Tag Team Champion. Oh, that's I can't believe it. I am so stoked. Thank you so much. Thank you. Robbie, TJ Watt and Malinka are the only playmakers on defense. Yes, with that high price, Robbie, but that high price comes at a cost, and the cost is we are 3-7. Wow, I can't get over the T. Just so wow, that is awesome. Thank you, sir. Please contact me, and we would love to have you on a show where we do interviews with the Triple B Experience. I am so honored that you just jumped on the show. Thank you so much. God, that's amazing. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, I'm starstruck, and I'm trying to. My words are slurred now. But I got to pick the Triple B Player of the Game. There's not many of them. Kenny Pickett had a so-so game. I know people in Pittsburgh. Steele says 3 players, one $108 million. Too much. That's too much. I agree, Steele. We got to space that money out. My triple B player of the game. There's a lot. Kenny Pickett had a half decent game. Najee Harris had a good game. Hey, Matthew Wright kicked some field goals and extra points. He probably got a couple beers bought to him afterwards because he didn't miss anything. George Pickens. I'm going to go. George Pickens had 83 yards and a touchdown. I'm going to go, and I'm going to give my triple B player of the game to the rookie, George Pickens, because I believe every play he gives it 110%. He's also blocking out there. And him and Kenny are starting to get this combination with Fat Freiermuth. I'm okay with that because I tell you right now, George Pickens is your number one Steeler receiver. The Dante Johnson, I just don't know what happened to you, sir. And that's who I'm going with. He 4 receptions, 83 yards. That nice touchdown pass he caught from Kenny is my triple B player of the game. And we lost 37-30. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-7. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty review of our Steelers losing to Cincinnati. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in pre-Thanksgiving on a Wednesday night. Be safe. Eat some turkey for me because I'm going to. And like I said before, as a starstruck, thank you, Tito Santana, for jumping onto the show. That's awesome. We were going to please hit like and subscribe to the Triple B Experience. And we'll get it out there. And Robbie has one more. Arthur Millette playing nickel is no good. Gave up so many plays. Yes, I do agree. And I didn't even see Kazir out there. KZ, I didn't even see him. He missed me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But like I said, hit like, share, subscribe to the Triple B Experience. I'm going to get the show where we're going to preview the Colts game. I'm going to get it out this weekend because I know it's Black Friday, Thanksgiving, and the Steelers play Monday night on ESPN. So once again, I'm your host, the Triple B, Bad Bubba Brewer, and I appreciate all you guys for tuning in Steeler Nation. Just hit like, subscribe. It'll be on Spotify, and you can go back. If you just jumped on, you can hit the replay. I do post it many times on my Facebook. Hey, Steel, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, brother. You're going to have to come over to the house, drink a couple sarsaparillas before Christmas time. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. Eat some turkey. Drink a little bit of drink, and be safe, and have a good one. I'll see you guys this weekend with my Steelers review of the Colts Monday night game. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys jumping onto Facebook and asking questions and talking. This is the only podcast that does that I truly appreciate it. It makes my day. So I'm here to entertain. Thank you guys. Good night, a better tomorrow, and happy Thanksgiving.